What if a nuclear bomb hit New York City tomorrow? What if a nuclear bomb hit New York City tomorrow? Millions would be caught off guard. The blast, the firestorm, the deadly radiation. What happens next? More importantly, how do you survive? In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what to do, where to go, how to protect yourself, and how to stay alive when the unthinkable happens. This is your ultimate survival guide for a nuclear attack on New York City. Pay attention. This could save your life. If a nuclear weapon were to hit New York City tomorrow, the consequences would be catastrophic. Here's a breakdown of what would likely happen. Ground zero, within 1 mile of impact. Everything would be instantly vaporized. Buildings, infrastructure, and people would be reduced to ash due to the extreme heat, millions of degrees at the core of the explosion. Shockwave, 3 miles out. A massive blast wave would flatten buildings, overturn vehicles, and create deadly flying debris. The force would be enough to kill or severely injure anyone within range. Thermal radiation, up to 10 miles out. Third-degree burns would be inflicted on exposed skin. Fires would ignite across the city, leading to a firestorm similar to what was seen in Hiroshima. Fallout and radiation exposure. A mushroom cloud would form, sending radioactive debris into the atmosphere. Fallout drift. Wind patterns would carry deadly radiation far beyond NYC, affecting parts of New Jersey, Connecticut, and beyond. People in the open would experience radiation poisoning with symptoms like nausea, vomiting, and burns. Survivors in underground shelters might avoid the initial effects, but could still face lethal radiation exposure. Infrastructure collapse. Communications blackout. EMP, electromagnetic pulse. Effects could knock out cell towers, internet, and power grids. Transportation. Shut down. Bridges, tunnels, and subway systems would be destroyed or unusable. Evacuating survivors would be nearly impossible. Hospitals overwhelmed. Medical facilities would be either destroyed or unable to handle the enormous number of burn victims and radiation cases. Economic and political impact. The financial sector, headquartered in NYC, would collapse, triggering a global economic crisis. The U.S. government would likely declare martial law, and emergency services would be stretched beyond capacity. Retaliation would be swift if this were an act of war, potentially escalating into a full-scale nuclear conflict. Long-term consequences. Radiation sickness. Thousands more would die in the coming weeks from radiation exposure. Environmental damage. The fallout would render parts of NYC uninhabitable for years or even decades. Global fallout. If this triggered a larger nuclear war, worldwide consequences could include nuclear winter, food shortages, and mass displacement. Nuclear attack survival guide, New York City. Immediate actions, 0, 10 minutes after impact. Take cover immediately. If indoors, stay inside and move to the lowest level, basement, or to an interior room without windows. If outdoors, find shelter immediately in a concrete or brick building. If no buildings are around, lie flat and cover your head. The blast wave can arrive seconds after the flash. Avoid the blast and heat. If you see a bright flash, don't look at it. It can cause blindness. If possible, get behind a solid structure, brick or concrete. If in a car, do not try to outrun the blast, pull over and seek shelter. After the blast, 10 minutes, 1 hour. Stay sheltered to avoid fallout. Radioactive fallout will begin falling like ash 10-15 minutes after the blast. Stay inside for at least 48 hours to let radiation levels drop. Seal windows, vents, and doors with duct tape and plastic sheets if available. Reduce radiation exposure. Distance. Put as many thick walls between you and the outside as possible. Shielding. The more dense materials, concrete, lead, steel, between you and the blast, the better. Time. Radiation levels decrease over time. Stay put for 48 hours before considering evacuation. Sheltering and survival. First 48 hours, 2 weeks. Essential supplies. Water, 1 gallon per person per day. Avoid contaminated sources. Food, non-perishable, canned goods, MREs, protein bars. Medications and first aid, radiation sickness treatments, iodine pills, bandages, antibiotics. Battery-powered radio. Stay informed about rescue efforts and fallout zones. Flashlights and batteries, power will likely be out. Communication and information. Use a battery-powered or hand-crank radio to listen for emergency broadcasts, FEMA, NYC Emergency Management. Avoid using your phone unless absolutely necessary to save battery. Evacuating safely after 48 hours. When to leave. If your shelter is compromised, fire, collapse, lack of supplies. If authorities issue a safe evacuation route. If radiation levels drop significantly, check emergency broadcasts. Best evacuation strategies. Move perpendicular to the wind carrying fallout, not downwind. Wear thick clothing, cover skin, and use a mask or cloth to avoid inhaling radioactive dust. Stick to underground subway tunnels if they remain intact. Avoid bridges, highways, and major roads. They will be clogged with traffic. Long-term survival, weeks to months after. Finding help. Look for FEMA aid stations or National Guard relief centers. Avoid looting. Law enforcement, military will enforce martial law. Trade supplies with trusted groups, but avoid desperate or aggressive individuals. Long-term effects and rebuilding. Expect food shortages and contaminated water supplies. Avoid scavenging in destroyed areas. Radiation hotspots remain deadly. NYC may take years to recover, and certain zones may be permanently uninhabitable. Final thoughts. Surviving a nuclear attack is possible if you act fast, find proper shelter, and stay informed. Your best chance is to stay put for at least 48 hours to avoid radiation exposure.